Hi there. In this video, we're going to look at Ripple and Stellar. We'll cover the battleground where the bulls and bears are fighting, and then whether there are any price drops, and also whether there are any whales footprint based on Wyckoff method. So let's start with the daily chart of Ripple. Here, Ripple is getting closer and closer to the date we mentioned in previous session. So the price has been trading sideways, getting support from the key level of 1.35. So the battleground between the bulls and bears has been around this 1.35 yellow key level all the way to 1.54 green key level for quite a while, actually since the beginning of February. All right. And now it is getting to a point where a decision has to come in, meaning either it breaks this downtrend, okay, this long-term downtrend that started way back over here in July 2025. All right, and then looking at this, besides that option, definitely it can continue with the downtrend because just in late March, early April, the price has gone below the yellow key level and tested it for about roughly a week and a half, close to 2 weeks times. So it can definitely choose the other option. If anything shocks the market, may it be private credit crisis or stock market, reacting to the Middle East situation finally, whatever that is. Okay, so remember, mid-May decision point coming because the price is getting closer and closer to this gap. So what about Stellar? What's the battleground? Where is it? So Stellar, pretty similar. The lower boundary of the battleground is around 14 cents 70. This yellow dashed line over here is actually, this bottom is set by the February 6th and 5th. Those two big candles with high volumes. That means big commitment from the players. Okay, especially the big players. Okay, we small fishes wouldn't be able to create such candles, with that kind of volume. Okay, so the top edge is slightly higher. You can consider that about close to 10% higher than the purple key level of 17 cents 20. All right, it has been testing the 18 cents, but never successfully closed near that level. Okay, you see all these wicks, they passed the 18 cents line over here, but every time they did it, the candles close, closer back to the purple line. But this time, it is slightly higher, a little bit different. So if we have to measure, if we have to draw another dashed line instead of just looking at the key level, this is somewhere those tests went to, okay, about 18 cents 10, roughly that. So currently what Stellar is doing after retesting that level, it basically has a narrow trend down. You see this narrow box over here, and it is getting or retesting this blue key level like we talked about last week, right? 15 cents 70. I said if it's on support like what it is doing now and continues to trade along this blue line by 4th of May, which is in a day or two's time, the decision point comes in. Either it breaks this trend, this downtrend over here, and stays above the blue line, okay, like similar to what it did in late March over here, right? It found support at the blue, bounces back to retest the yellow dash line over there. Okay, that's one option. The other is going to continue, meaning breaking this support, continue downwards like what it did here and here, right? And continue going back to challenge this yellow dash line that 14 cents 70 that we talked about in the beginning. What if that happens? What date it is pointing to that a decision point will come again? So that's around 9th of May. Okay, it's not like so exact. It's like 1 or 2 days roughly, up and forward or backward. But you get the idea. When it trades closer and closer to that day, the tendency of it making a decision to break a trend or break a level is getting higher and higher. Okay, that's like a clock counting down. So after seeing the battleground, the key levels, whether there are any price trend traps that's coming, because you think it's going down, it may be actually breaking and going back up again. What about the bigger picture, the Wyckoff view? So for Ripple, it is going through the transition in the early stage of accumulation cycle from the panic sell whales buy period to the panic over stage. Compared to the last period, why I am still holding the decision to declare this is the panic over stage is because it is way higher than the last accumulation cycle. Once peaked at the purple key level of 86 cents, last cycle you see over here. Let me enlarge it. So if you're on mobile phone, you see where it goes. Okay, it went slightly, tested the purple key level of 86 cents. But then, now we are actually quite some distance from there. Not only that, but also the tariff announcement date last year in October actually retested the purple key level. So that's why I am a bit skeptical that this is actually the panic over stage. Okay? I still feel there is a chance that it is going to come down to test the purple key level. Okay? I may be wrong, but to be very careful, the good thing is we have this automatic rally that can confirm. Okay, if the price bounces and then drops back down, then we know, okay, this may be the panic over stage sterling climax, the SC. But then subsequent tests will also come in. Okay? All right, so there's no point to rush. Okay, look at what happened over here. Yes, panic over stage, automatic rally, came back down to test, and then finally FOMO. That's the case for Ripple, the transition at the early stage of accumulation. How about Stellar? Same thing, but a little bit different. You can tell immediately, right, when the draw put this down. This is actually the level where the top of the accumulation back in 2023-24 was for Stellar. Okay, very different picture, right? It is within the accumulation area. Let's say this is the accumulation area between the red key level of 0.072 all the way to the purple key level of 17 cents 20. That's for Stellar. For Ripple, you clearly see that the price is way higher than this box. Okay? You can argue, some people would say because Ripple has gone through all those hardships, regulator scrutiny, regulations not supporting, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's fine. That's why it's getting a much higher bottom than before. That may be true. Let's see, right? Only time can tell. For Stellar, here, again, if it is transiting between the preliminary support and, that's panic sell, whale spot period, and then to these panic over stage, the selling climax, what we want to see next is the automatic rally. Okay, if the pattern really repeats, that means people starting to come back. But that doesn't mean the whales are going to let you go immediately. Okay, they will shake, keep shaking. Sometimes they shake a little bit lighter. Sometimes if bad news comes in, that's where the opportunity, they shake a little bit deeper just to get rid of more paper hands and they can buy. You see this accumulator pattern, right? And then the price shoot up. You see this gap, this wedge over here. Okay, If you're interested to access these sessions 2 days earlier, like the current channel members, join the channel membership now. And remember, the dashboards and write-up that helps you avoid FOMO panic is now available on Substack. Go subscribe and check it out. See you in the next video. Thank you.